Hi, everybody. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how to do research using the internet. And we're going to start by using a search engine called Google. There are different search engines, but Google is, well, pretty much the most popular these days. It's also the most extensive, and it's also connected to our Gmail accounts and our Google Classroom. So we're going to use Google, and you just get to it by clicking on, if you look down here on my screen, I have a Chrome button. And if you click on that Chrome button, it brings you to a Google search, Google page. So there's two places that you can write in whatever you're going to search for. And it might be that you're writing a paper, you might be doing a PowerPoint presentation, you might just want to find out more information about something or someone. So we're going to focus on academic research. And so we want to type in, say we are doing a paper on global and do you see when I start typing, a little drop down menu comes, this drop down menu, and it shows different options. Okay, I don't want any of those. Okay, I want global warming and coral reefs, right? So I'm doing a paper about the effect of global warming on coral reefs. So I'm going to click on that. And Google is going to go out into the internet and find every single thing that it can find about that topic. And it's narrowed it down in just over half a second. It did that. It's narrowed it down to 4,040,000 results. So obviously, you can't look at 4,040,000 results. So, how do we narrow this down even more? One way, and I'm going to talk about this in a different video, which is talking about Google Scholar. But one way is you might get a result that looks like this: scholarly articles for this topic. Okay. If you click that, it takes you to a different section within Google that they have already created where they collected all of the scholarly articles. Scholarly articles are articles written by professionals, by professors, by scientists, by universities. Okay, so these are really good resources. And if you get this as an option, this is where you want to go, because I'm actually going to show you how to search Google Scholar in the next video. So I'm just going to erase that. We're going to scroll down because we don't want to do that right now. We want to skip this section because this is not necessarily, it does give us some information, but we don't really know anything about that. We're going to just scroll down a little bit here. And what I want to look at is, how do you know if it's a good resource or not? So, how you can kind of narrow it down a little bit. First of all, the first articles posted are not necessarily the best articles. So that's really key to remember. It doesn't mean that they're not the best, but they are not necessarily the best. Why? Because companies and individuals can pay Google to have their results come up at the top of the page, right? The top of page one is where you want to be. That's where everyone looks first. So if I scroll all the way down to the bottom of this, see all these pages? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, blah, blah. It keeps going. It's going to show me all 4 million if I want. A really good source might be on page 2. I don't know. But also at the bottom, it has searches related to global warming and coral reefs. And it gives me different options to look up already. They've already done some of the work for me. So, how do we narrow down these first few that we're looking at? One way, and I will use this one because this is a good source. Do you see here where it says GOV at the end? GOV stands for government. So this site is connected to a government. In this case, it happens to be the United States because the United States uses GOV on its own. So GOV is a really good place to find factual information, information that's been what we call vetted, VETTED. Vetted means that other people, professionals, scientists, have looked at this information and they've said, yes, this is okay. This is good for us to put up. Okay, so government is a good ending. If you see a website that has gov at the end, we want to use that. Okay. The next kind of website that we might see is org. So org means organization. These are generally nonprofit organizations or non-governmental organizations that are focused on a particular topic or cause. So in this case, ORG is going to be, happens to be an organization that is somehow related to coral reefs. Okay. The next one and here you have UN. So UN.org is literally the United Nations. So we know the United Nations is a valid body, a valid entity. That's going to be a good place to find some information. I want to find one that has, and I don't really see one there, so we're going to skip that. But so the next one that we see is .com. So I want you to see this ending here. So we have .com, we have .org, and then we had .gov. So .com means that it's a commercial site. It could be an individual, it could be a company. It might be a nonprofit, probably not. Most nonprofits go for the org ending. So .com is where you need to be a little bit more careful. It's not necessarily going to be vetted. It might just be somebody's individual website they set up, and maybe they don't think there's any problem with coral reefs and they put a bunch of information on there and nobody is looking at it to make sure if it's true or false. It's not necessarily true. Lots of newspapers and magazines have .com addresses. This specific website that we're looking at here is Scientific American, which is a very, very well-known, well-respected magazine. And so if they have an article, it's probably pretty valid. So you want to, it's not that they're not okay. It's just that of the three, it's probably the third level of article that you want to go to or website that you want to go to. So start with government ones if you can, or organizations, and then look at .coms. And again, look for things that are well known and well respected. And that's how you can decide whether or not the source is a good source to look at.